The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, November 30th, 2023. I'm Keith Tebow. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a little different tact again this week with our news program. We're going to go in depth with some issues, and now that we're past Thanksgiving, our focus now shifts to the Christmas holiday season. And there are a number of organizations across Fall River that really lend a hand to help those in need this holiday season. We're going to speak to two of them. We're going to speak to Representative for Citizens and their Operation Christmas Toy Campaign. We're also going to talk to the Salvation Army about all they do for the needy here in Fall River. I'm pleased to be joined by Crystal Arpa from Citizens for Citizens, who runs the Operation Christmas operation, and Captain Alexis Castillo from the Salvation Army. Thank you both for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
You know, let me just start with you, Crystal, first about Operation Christmas. We usually do a story with you every year about what the needs are this year, but Operation Christmas, along with many of the events at Salvation Army, have been going on for so many years. I guess it's really become a staple in Fall River in terms of providing toys to children during the holiday season. And I know you've been involved for a number of years. Talk a little bit about the history.
So I have been involved for 20 years, and between Citizens for Citizens and the Salvation Army, we have two of the biggest Christmas programs around here. They started out as actually refurbishing new toys for children over 50 years ago. So they would get donations of used toys, and they would clean them, and they would get new clothes and put them on dolls. And it was a way to give back to the community for people who did not have any toys for their kids. And from there, it went on to raising more money and actually purchasing new toys, so the kids would wake up and actually have something from Santa Claus, versus, you know, a doll that was repainted or a truck that was repainted. So it really has grown from a used to a whole new program.
And I'm sure, you know, when you complete one year, you start working on the next, right? Yes. So obviously we're in the home stretch now, as we're in the end of November, heading into to the holiday season in December. So I guess, how do you organize it, and how do you, we'll talk about, donations and the like, but how do you organize it, and then we'll talk about how people can get involved. But how do you organize this massive effort?
I like to call it organized chaos. So yes, we do. I have to keep a running list of how many kids I had last year. Those kids, if they all sign up, are going to move up in age. So, and then as people start coming in and asking about it, I'm keeping a tally of how many extra kids we're going to have. And I also deal with several different groups and organizations that come to me instead of the families. Many different, I'll have churches that will come for certain populations. We have certain organizations that will do the immigrants that are coming in or the refugees that are coming in. And they'll come to me with those. We deal with Stepping Stone and the Battered Woman Shelter, Battered Person Shelter. So not only do I deal with the parents or grandparents, whomever has custody, I deal with also organizations. So I have to keep all that in mind to wonder if I'll have enough of toys and start preparing. We actually start purchasing some of our toys in May. Just to make sure we're going to have enough. Yeah.
What is the anticipated need this year? I remember last year, I think we talked about 4,000 kids. Now, you also service Fall River and Taunton, correct?
We have a Taunton office, so I service Fall River, all the surrounding communities except Taunton. Okay. We do have a Taunton office that does our Taunton area. So where I serve a little over 4,000 kids, or last year I believe it was 4,100. Taunton serves about another 2,500.
Is that expected to be the same this year?
With funding, if Thanksgiving is any indication on how I will receive donations, then yes, because we can only service so much with the monies that we gather in. In years past, we used to have a telethon to raise money. Now we send out letters. Unfortunately, Harbor Mall closing, we never really had another place we could do something like a telethon. And the telethon in itself was a lot of work for 3 days of a telethon to try to raise money. So where we're open for new adventures, we're kind of looking for what that new adventure would be to help us raise more money. But there are many different groups out there that do similar things that we do. So there is a lot of competing instead of working together sometimes, where Salvation Army has always been great. We've always worked together. I work very well with Catholic Social Services. There are some smaller groups that started, and now we all have to compete. So we are not getting the donations that we should be getting or used to be getting for Thanksgiving and for Christmas so far.
Yeah. Let's talk about the specifics of the operation. What are the ages of children that are serviced? I know that, as you said, you reach out to those who were here last year, hopefully to remind them to see if there's still a need. But there's an application process as well. I guess talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts and the requirements for people.
So the application is on our website. It can be printed out. It does have the instructions. The deadline to get your application in is December 8th. We service children newborn to 12 years old, and you must have custody of the child. So we do require, if it's foster children, that you have a letter saying that they're in your care, or either a mass health and a birth certificate from the parent, and we require a piece of mail to prove they're in our service area.
Which in our case here is Greater Fall River area, and again, Taunton would have their own application process for Taunton.
Yes.
So talk about, what do the children get?
So every child gets a major gift, 2 minor gifts, stocking stuffers, hats and mittens, and every family gets at least 1 family game to promote family time.
Yeah, so that gives, I guess, everyone in the family gets a little bit of something in some way, shape, or form. Now, in terms of people who would like to donate, I know there are some specifics there. I know in some operations that people can actually donate based on a specific age group. Is that not the case here? You just take any toy? Even hats and gloves and coats, you'll take those as well.
We do. So if we receive clothing in, I call the Salvation Army and I give it to them because they do clothing and we do toys. But nothing is too small in my eyes. Considering what we give out, I have people that go to the dollar store and they buy little candies or just little trinkets, a nail polish. And that's all acceptable. There is nothing too small. Again, we do newborn to 12 years old. So, I have a lady that will go and buy all these different binkies, which is great for newborns because we need a lot of stocking stuffers when you're doing 4,000 kids. You need a lot of hats and mittens. So for me, yes, I will take in any toy because that is going to make some kids Christmas. We try to leave it age specific. If it says, for 14 plus, I can't use it. I cannot give a toy out to a 12-year-old that says for 14 years and older. That would be pretty much our only cannot do. Other than that, everybody has a dream. We do have the kids write down what their interests are. So we try to match up their interests with things that we have, whether they write sports or science kits, Barbie dolls, and that way they're actually getting something they want to play with.
Can people who want to donate, can they also donate money?
Absolutely. As I have said, we do purchase our toys. One of the companies that we use is very generous, so I make a very large bill with them that we have to pay. I'm lucky enough that we do not have to pay it till after Christmas. That way, if I need to add anything to there, and they can ship it out immediately. So cash donations are always very welcome. I do like people to go shop on their own also. I think it's a good experience for them to go out and see that things are not as cheap as they used to be. So sometimes when people go see that, they understand the struggles that we go through to try to help all these children.
Yeah. So let me ask you, so in terms of families applying to have their children receive a gift, it's December 8th. What about people donating either money or gifts? What's their deadline?
There is no deadline. So we do collect for Operation Christmas year-round,
Right.
which is something that helps me keep going every single year. So I do have people that even after Christmas will bring in toys because they were on sale, and I will hold them for the following year. But as far as cash donations, we'll accept it year-round. Toy donations, I would prefer to have as many as I could before the 16th, which would be our major distribution day. But every year, I have the whole week after that I give out toys to my naughty listers, you know, the ones who forgot it was Christmas. So we will take toys anytime.
And people drop them off at the Eastern Avenue?
We are now at 822 Eastern Ave. They have shipped me. I have taken over a whole building. It's amazing. I can actually fit things in it instead of making mountains to climb on top of.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me to play with all the toys.
There you go. You get to try them out before
It
anyone
is
else.
quality control.
Someone has to do it.
Best part of my job.
Absolutely. Let me ask you also, you know, that location also is the food pantry.
Yes, it
for
is.
Citizens for Citizens. Do you see an uptick this time of year as well for that? I mean, I know it's busy year-round, but is there a special focus this time of year?
There absolutely is. People are very worried about, are they going to have a holiday meal? Are they going to be able to pay their gas bill and buy Christmas presents? And, you know, this time of year, people get really emotional. Some of it being good and some of it not so good. You have to understand, this is a year that people have lost loved ones. This is going to be their first holidays without their loved ones, whether it be, you know, I don't have my father or I don't have my grandparents that were always there. And it makes people sadder this time of year. So there's always an uptick because they want to do better for their child. They want to make sure they have everything so they're not unhappy.
Yeah. Let me just ask you finally before I shift over to the Salvation Army and Captain Castillo. If people have any questions, where should they call?
They can call me on Eastern Ave, which is 508-675-2157. My extension is 601.
601. So that's
Yes.
direct line to
That
Eastern
is-
Avenue.
Yes.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you so much for having me.
No, we'll talk some more in a few moments,
Okay.
and we shift over to Captain Castillo now and the Salvation Army. When people think the holidays and they think the Salvation Army, they think of the red kettles.
Yep.
And that's
yeah.
been around for a long, long time, even here
it's
in Fall River.
It's about 100 years since they started the Red Kettle Campaign. Actually, it didn't start as a campaign. It started as an officer of the Salvation Army in San Francisco, trying to make a holiday dinner with no funds at all. So what he did is went to the port, right, and paint like a old pot that he have in the building, paint it red. He put it there, collecting money to make this community dinner for Christmas. So that's how it started, and it was successful. Next year he did the same thing, and then this started replicating all over the country. And now, you know, as iconic it is, you know, we have been in movies and in all that in New York City. It's kind of like very iconic. You have Christmas, you have the Salvation Army doing kettles there around all over the city. And that is the same thing here in Fall River.
Yeah. So talk about this year's campaign. I know it just started right after Thanksgiving in full force.
Yeah, in full force after the Black Friday. We started again. I have to say that every year is getting harder and harder just because we have national agreements with companies, so we need to have those national agreements in place, and it's not only in this part of the country, it's for the whole whole country, right? So it's sometimes get tougher, but normally by the Thanksgiving, the Black Friday is where we are all forced in, right? In different stores, we're gonna be in. I don't know if I can say the store. Walmart's. We're gonna be in the Stop and Shops, in Shaw's. So yeah, I mean, Market Basket, we're gonna be there too. So yeah.
So. How widespread is it? I mean, years ago, you used to almost, I know you said that there's national agreements for some larger corporations, but years ago, it used to be almost every storefront, or every bank even, there would be a kettle. It's pared down for a number of reasons, I'm sure. One may be volunteers, right?
Yeah, there is a big need of volunteers. Actually, we normally don't say these things, but I want the people to understand, we would love to have everyone volunteering to do kettles, right? The reality is that we don't have enough people, and enough people willing to do it. So we hire people. Another thing is people of the community that are getting a salary also during this season, right? For helping us to raise the money, right? Yes, we would like to have more volunteers, of course, but yeah, I mean, the difficulty is the enough staff to do it. And then there is a lot of organizations that have, since we start with these campaigns, right? There have been a 1,000 other organizations that want to do something similar. So now corporations said, listen, if I have to say yes to every person that come, I prefer to say no to everyone, right? So that is how instead of being in every single store, we are reducing the amount of store that allow us to be there. Now we found a little alternative in a few of the Dunkin' Donuts, in some Walgreens. We have the counter kettles, which is a little kettle that we put in the countertop. And the people could donate there. We have a volunteer, part of an advisory board, that normally go around all the city, checking the ones that are full and exchanging it, you know. And also, in all those counter kettles, and even in the kettle, in the regular kettle, you're gonna see a QR code where you can make the donation online that goes straight to the campaign, right? We are trying to raise $90,000 this year, which help us not only during the holiday season, but also to provide help during the whole year for all the needs that we have. Our big job here in Fall River is food, right? We have a choice food pantry, and also we give. Now we're down to 1 day a week to the soup kitchen, right? We have soup kitchen and a food pantry. So that worked the whole year, plus other activities that we do, like back to school programs and some other things that we do during the year.
Now, in terms of your visibility during the holiday season, do you tend to go Friday, Saturday, weekends when there's more people out? Are you out there 7 days? Or
we are out. As you know, we are a Christian organization. So on Sundays we're never out. But just because of the stat, and you analyze all the kettles and everything over the years, we're doing kettles from Tuesday to Saturday. Because Monday normally, again, because we are hiring people, we spend more money putting people out than actually receiving. So we're going now from Tuesday to Saturday, more or less, depend traffic, from 10 to 6 p.m.
Right. You had mentioned that the money that you collect for the campaign not only goes toward Christmas but through the entire year.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about the programs that the Salvation Army, consistently provides throughout the year.
And I think it was mentioned before that things are not getting cheaper, right? And as I want to say this because we have a struggle this year getting food. The food bank is one of the biggest provider for us, and even them, they're struggling to get food to donate or for us to purchase from them, right? Even providers like Stop and Shop or Cisco, all these providers, it's getting hard to get the food and the price also, right? So the majority of the money is go towards those funds, right, to get the food into a building so we can give it to the people. When we have we choose to go from a regular food pantry that prepare the box and give it to you, to a choice food pantry that is by appointment. So we have the people walk into a room where we have all the products and they choose what they need, just because I think it's a better honor way to provide the help that they need. Sometimes, many times, and we receive a lot of food from other food pantries that people don't use, so they come and donate it to the Salvation Army, right? But that is why we want to do a little different, so they can receive what they want and what they're gonna use. That is one of the main things that we do. Food programming is big for us. Now we also have small programs with kids. We have 2 nights a week. We have a little. It's not an after school, but we call it a kids club, where we 2 nights. The first night is more like a skill development things, like we teach them about the world, the earth, different things. And then the second night, the Wednesday night, we do music specific. My wife and I, we both are musicians, so we try to teach them from singing to drums to some brass instrument, timbrels, all what we can. The two of us could do. Yeah.
Another thing that the Salvation does throughout the holiday season, and I was there to cover a kickoff for the Thanksgiving and Christmas season, is helping families with food for their holiday meal.
Yes.
You just finished Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And now you're heading toward the Christmas season.
Yes.
I know there's quite a few families and quite a few individuals that signed up ahead of time. Can't sign up anymore, correct, for this? But they signed up back in October, September.
Yes,
right.
every year. So please contact us if you have the need. Please just give us a phone, give us a call. But every year in October, pay attention to our social medias, because we promote everything through our social media. In October, we have 2 weeks where we are doing sign-ups for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's all together. So we provide coats for kids. And the food basket for their meal. What we're doing now, just logistic wise, we are providing with a gift card for a store to get the meat per se. As you mentioned, there was a lot of new families in the community that are from other countries, all over the world, right? And a lot of these countries, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so they don't know what to do. They ask, what is cranberry sauce? What do we use it for? Because they don't have no clue. So what we did is the meat, not a lot of people, eat turkey, so you have the gift card, so you can go and purchase whatever meat you want, chicken or turkey or beef, whatever you want, right? To celebrate in some type of shape or form, the holidays here. Yeah. And that is the same thing that we're going to do for Christmas, right? So
how many families are going to be celebrating with the Christmas meal? And
we have 632 families signed. That is about 2,023 people in total that we're serving for these things. And again, sadly, we have to put a stop, because we need, we don't have all the resources that we would like to.
Yeah. If people have any questions about the Salvation Army, what you're doing this holiday season, how can they call?
They can call to our office, and the phone number is 508-679-7900.
Okay.
You call to our office. You can go to our Facebook page also, and the Salvation Army Fall River, and we normally promote everything there. We have some of the weeks we receive some donations straight from Walmart. And again, we don't have the space to storage, so we go, as soon as we receive that donation, we go straight to our gym, put some tables and put it on the table and post it on social media. We have this for free, first come, first serve. So just be checking our our Facebook page for those things. Normally it's on Fridays, but sometimes the time and the day change, right? So, but yeah, we do a lot of those things too.
I want to ask both of you this next question, and I'll start with you, Crystal. Since the pandemic, we've seen, obviously, you've both talked about the cost of goods and services. Things have gone up. It's been tougher. Are you also both seeing the difficulty of people looking to donate, where I may be okay in my house, I'm able to provide, but in the past I was able to donate or buy a toy, and I'm not able to do that as much? Are you seeing, both of you seeing this?
My
Crystal?
donations have been down tremendously, not just from private individuals and small businesses, but even through the food bank, like he said, we get several stores that we pick up from, where I used to pick up pallets of things that may have, they're not expired, but they're coming close to the date. It's not an expiration date, it's a sell-by date. So not only am I not getting the donations from individuals, we're not getting them from the companies as well. And as he did mention, the food bank has had a hard time with themselves. So food is down from all aspects, even cash donations from all aspects. People are finding it very hard to make ends meet. The rising costs in rental has increased my numbers. People around here are used to paying a small amount of money. Well, during the pandemic, all these houses sold for outrageous amounts of money, and the rents went from $600 to $1,400. The people here on disability don't make that much money. And now they have to get a roommate. And once they get a roommate and they're on SSI, and SSI now cuts both their allotments, so they still don't have enough of money. So people are struggling tremendously.
Captain Castillo, do you find it more of that the case in a city like Fall River, where it blue collar, a lot of immigrant population, they sort of are against it to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been in Fall River. I've been stationed here for a year and a half now, more or less. And yes, I think that there is as we say, there's a two things, right? We are close to Boston, but we are not Boston, right? That is one thing that we always have to take in consideration. So things are different. A lot of our donation go towards Boston because they have a massive operation in all terms, not only in Salvation Army, in different organizations. That's one thing. Also, the cost of that, all the COVID-19 costs to everyone, and that we are dragging that towards the years, and it's gonna take a little while to recover from that. There's still people afraid to go out, and there are still people that are afraid to get in public, and so those kind of things affect in all this little maybe I don't know how to say it correctly, but affect the donations, affect the increase more the need too. But also affect the donation, because some of the people that used to donate, now they don't have enough either to live. So there's that conflicting part too. So yeah, it's a complicated time that we're living right now.
Crystal, I appreciate your time. Captain Castillo, again, thank you for joining. You're both doing great work here in the city of Fall River, and hopefully we can help get you some donations between now and the holiday season. I do appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Just a reminder, hopefully this coming weekend you'll be celebrating on Saturday the holiday Christmas Children's Parade in downtown Fall River, leaving from Kennedy Park all the way down South Main Street. That'll be followed, of course, this Saturday as well with the tree lighting ceremony. And I also want to remind you, right here on FRC Media, on Monday, December 4th at 5 p.m., Santa is coming to town. We'll have our North Pole Live program where Santa Claus will be in our studio. If you've got young ones, we invite you to join us here in person to speak to Santa, or you can always call us on the phone, as Santa will also take your Christmas list via phone. That'll be this Monday at 5 p.m. right here on FRC Media. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.